Good morning, Dr. Eloisa. Would you please introduce yourself?
I'm Eloisa Gonzalez, a physician in public health and preventive medicine with the LA County Department of Public Health.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Myth number 4. These vaccines use genetic materials to fight the virus. That means they can affect our genes?
Well, the truth is that these vaccines do use genetic material. It's called mRNA, where the M stands for messenger, and they use that to fight the virus, but it doesn't do anything to your genes. Just as the name says, mRNA works like a messenger. In this case, the mRNA used in the vaccine tells your body to make a protein that kicks your immune system into action. The mRNA lets your body get a message from the virus without having to run into the virus directly, but it doesn't affect your genes. Keep in mind that you encounter genetic material from other plants and animals all the time when you eat them. Your body breaks them down into their basic chemicals and uses the proteins, the fats, and the carbohydrates they contain to give you energy and make your cells work. So like the food you eat, the mRNA you get in a vaccine does have an effect on your health, but it absolutely does not change your genes or your DNA.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Myth number 5 has been around for years and years and years, and let's talk about that. They say that childhood vaccines can cause autism. Don't these vaccines contain dangerous chemicals that can have serious health effects on our children?
Well, luckily not true on either count. Childhood vaccines are one of the best and safest protections against dangerous diseases that have been developed, and these vaccines have been carefully tested for safety as well. First, let's talk about the autism scare. It was, I believe, started by an English doctor who was later shown to be a fraud. The lie actually lived on because some celebrities bought in and ran with it. So what's the result? Millions of dollars wasted on providing the truth over and over. For example, one study looked at every single baby born in Denmark for 8 years and showed there was absolutely no link. So even so, some scared parents still avoid vaccines, and we see deadly outbreaks of diseases that we could totally prevent. The list of ingredients in the COVID vaccines is really pretty simple. It has mRNA plus some fats called lipids, which is another word for fats, plus some salt and sugar to stabilize the mix. You can actually find the list of ingredients on the Food and Drug Administration's COVID-19 vaccine website, but I can assure you that nothing you'll see is out of the ordinary.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Now, myth number 6, I'm kind of even embarrassed to ask you this, but it is a myth, kind of like from a science fiction movie. The vaccine contains a microchip that can be used to track my movements.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, even if it was a little embarrassing for you to ask it, because we do hear this quite a bit as a myth that's going around particularly in the Latino communities. But the fact is, the vaccine does not contain any kind of tracking device whatsoever. The story seems to have spread on the internet based on a Facebook post that said that Bill Gates was planning to use a microchip to identify who have been tested for COVID-19. In fact, Mr. Gates had commented on a research study that had nothing to do with COVID-19 and nothing to do with anything being implanted. The study was about a method to be sure who has gotten vaccinated in countries that have high death rates from vaccine preventable diseases and poor health data systems. But like the story about autism, this is a story that is hard to stop, even after it's been debunked over and over.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Myth number 7, the vaccine, is it being pushed on people against their will?
No, getting the vaccine is totally and always voluntary. Doctors and public health officials are trying to provide people with good information on the safety and the effectiveness of these vaccines so that they can make an informed decision when it's their turn. to be offered the vaccine. No one is required to get vaccinated. And for individuals who would like to do more research on their own, they're always welcome to visit our website, vaccinatelacounty.com, where we have answers to many of the most commonly asked questions, as well as many of these myths that we're covering, and also alerts for scams that may arise as a result of the vaccine shortage. So I encourage everyone to visit vaccinatelacounty.com.